In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix a problem that the early Hobie 360 drives had. I want to apologize in advance. This video is kind of be a bit choppy as far as showing how to do things. This is the first time I'm actually doing this. It doesn't look too bad. Shop, you know, the amount of labor is probably going to be ridiculous for this, but you know, if your drive is out of warranty, you don't have much of a choice other than buying a new drive. So, you know, if you've still got one of the early drives like this one is here, then this could, you know, save you some money if you're willing to put in some of the effort. The problem that I'm going to be addressing today, actually, I'll address a couple problems. I don't know if this drive has the second one or not, but it definitely has the first problem, which at my shop we were calling the spitting bearings problem. And basically what would happen is that there's needle bearings in here and on this side that I'm not sure why. I think it's just you know, a little bit of wear, and then you know, it generally happened with drives that were used heavily. And then once there was some amount of wear in them, then it would just start spitting bearings that basically look like that. You know, these short little, roughly, I guess probably about an inch long, 1/8 inch bearings here. And you might find them laying on the floor in your garage, or what you could actually do is on some of them take the drive, turn it upside down, give it a shake, and then a few would fall out. So I'm going to show you this. The parts are available from Hobie through your dealer now. They sometimes take a while to get because they're not really a normal repair part. And what I'm going to be doing on this drive is basically upgrading it to the newer drive, and or the newer parts, I should say. And if you come over here, what we've got are this is from the old style drive, and then this is the newer part, and then you can see the difference in the bearings here. So this is an 1/8 inch bearing, and this is a 1/4 inch bearing. And what Hobie did was they took this part, and you can see, might be a little hard to see on camera, but what they did is they made this part smaller, thinner diameter to account for the thicker bearings. And then, you know, obviously upsize the bearings. So by doing that, they were able to keep the rest of the drive the same. And even these parts, which basically go on here, are you can see there's wear in them. These are the ones from an old drive. And, you know, so basically these, and we'll see them later in the video probably, but these go around here and on there, and that's what it rolls on. And by doing it this way, they were able to keep the rest of the parts the same. All right, so now we're going to get into the tear down of the drive. And again, the last time I tore down a drive was quite some time ago, so I may go slightly out of order, but we'll see. What we have to do to do this change, obviously, is, you know, we want to swap out this part on the drive, which is this piece right here. And unfortunately, that's kind of in the middle. This is another old dead drive that I pulled apart just to sort of see how things were going before I started working on a customer drive. And you can see here, this is the internal mechanism inside here, which is attached to this via these, well, basically the wire here. And then the way that, let's see if I can get it out here. There we go. And then the way this attaches to these guys is this little brass insert or whatever it's made out of here. I don't know, but that goes in there, and then the wires kind of wrap in line like that, and as you're pedaling, it's pulling it back and forth like that. Luckily, this is easy to pop out. So anyway, So now basically to get this out, we're gonna have to tear down a bunch of the drive. So first thing I think I'm gonna do is just tear off all this bottom bit here, and then we'll start working on this section here. So first thing, I think we will go ahead and just take the fins off, and then those are just basically held in by these clips here. Just sort of lift it and pull it around, and then you can go ahead and just pull the pin out, and that will release the fin. That went way easier than usual. All right, I'm just going to put those to the side. So same thing on this side here. Hopefully those are out. And what I would suggest doing is keeping all this stuff together and just putting it back, because I'm sure I'm not going to get this all done in an hour. But clip everything back together so you don't lose parts. Anyway, I'll do that off camera. Okay, next step is we want to take these guys off, which these are just held in by a couple hex bolts down in there. These are probably standard, but I happen to have metric handy, so I'm using a 4mm. Not sure what that equates to, but it works fine. So you want to go ahead and pull that off. Same thing on this side. And just pry them off with a screwdriver. And notice when you go to put them back on, you got the fins on here, and then those go inside these slots here. Go ahead and put these back in here. I don't remember if these are different, so I'm going to go ahead and label this one B for back, just to speed things up. F for front. I don't think they're different, but they might be. So, and I'll go ahead and put these back in here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the idler cable, because we'll have to take all this stuff off. It's all attached. So best way to do that is this time I actually have a 7/16, so that'll work. You need to bring this in such a way that you can get the wrench in there. It's up around I don't know, whatever it is, one or two on the thing. Makes it a little easier. It's also a good time to check your idler cable, because that is a wear part, and it is something that's pretty easy to change. All right, got that side off. Do the same thing over here. that off and then just pull it out. And notice it's going on the outside one. So when you put it back and pull it out. And then basically what you want to do is just want to look around the cable, look for any cracking. It's pretty common for the sheathing to crack. And then that's a good place for possibly rust to start. This one actually looks in pretty good nick, so we'll just keep that and we will reuse that when we reassemble. Put these on here. So one thing is like with these 360 drives, they're using these low profile 1/4 inch 20 stainless nuts. They can be a little tricky to find. The normal ones that they use on the 180 drives and other parts of the Hobies a lot of times don't work because there's sometimes not enough meat on the threads to lock into the nylock part. So it's best if you can to get some nylocks. I'll be putting new nylocks on here, the new Low Pros, because technically they're one-time use and you don't want these backing off. So set that aside. And then what we've got the other cables that are in here that go around the pulleys to actually transfer your motion there. So we have to undo those as well. And what you want to do is you want to look inside here and see which way these cables are routed, because you don't want to route them backwards. It's really easy to do. In fact, I think in one of Hobie's videos, they initially put them on and then one of them is routed backwards. The other thing to look at is you can see the one that's coming out here is on the outside, the other one's on the inside, and it's not mirrored on the other side. So if we look in here, or it actually is mirrored, I guess you would say. The one that comes out here is also on the outside. It's not, I'm sorry, on the inside of this one. So it's the opposite of the other one. So just pay attention as you're pulling these apart. The other thing you are going to have to do to get these off is it helps to have a pair of vice grips, which I didn't have set aside. Because unlike this cable, this one will actually see if it's got the change. One of the problems, the other problem that these drives had early on, and I forgot to mention before, the drives that had the problem were 2020, I believe, and they fixed it part of the way through 2020. So just because you have a 2020 doesn't guarantee you have these problems. I can't remember when. It was late in 2020, I think they fixed it, and then we haven't had these problems since. But the other issue here is much like you can sort of, I don't know if you can see in the camera there, but that's kind of a rectangular hole. And Hobie did that just to make it easier to unscrew the nuts on the cables, because you can see there's a flat side on the cables here, and when they stick through there they won't turn. So you can just use a wrench, one wrench, and then just turn it. And that's fine for the either cable, but for the internal cables, and just by using this, I think I just told myself which one this is. They did the same thing. The problem being is that the cables, when the drive was moving, the cable would kind of go like that, and you could, actually the drive I pulled apart had this problem. You could end up breaking the cable. This was just sort of an infield hack fix that they did to keep going, but the cable would be grabbed in the housing like that, and would be going like this as you're pedaling, which would then eventually snap right here, which is basically what this one did. What they did to fix that was basically just to hog out that hole a bit, to allow the more movement of this end piece that the nut screws onto. So let's see, I'm guessing this one does not have the fix because it's letting me do this. If it has the fix in it, you're going to have to, in all the newer drives, you have to kind of grab the cable with some pliers or something to keep it from turning. But let's take a quick look on this one here, because I'm guessing it doesn't have the fix. And sure enough, you can see this one has the rectangular hole, which allows for easy removal of the nut, but causes problems. So before we put this one back together, and I'll put this in the video, but I'm just going to take I'll have to figure out what size it is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but just take a drill bit and enlarge that hole somewhat so that this cable can move around in there, and the nut can move a little bit if it needs to, and then that will make that problem go away. So it's actually good on the video, we can show that. And then this side, same thing. We're going to want to move that. That's too bad that happened, because this makes it so much easier with all these cables. The 180 drives still have some, actually no, they changed into the 180 drives as well, I think, so you have to grab them with pliers, but it did make it a lot easier to get these nuts off. And then that one pops out. And then we've got the two that are back here as well. These are a little... Oops, wrong way. All right. Okay. Next, I'm going to pull these guys off. And I probably need two, yeah. To do that, I'm going to need a second one over here, which is not that one. Hobie shows a video on how to, or has a video on showing how to get this off, but basically just have to turn this, and it's just these caps going into, basically onto another shaft, and you can see that one's pulling out that way. So this end came off. It's kind of a crapshoot on which end comes off, but then we just pull that out. Now this is going to start, stuff's going to start falling apart here because we've got bearings and whatnot in there. So I'm just going to put that back together. Okay, now, so we've got some bearings in here. If you carefully remove these, so these are not the bearings that fall out, but these are the other bearings in the drive. You can sort of see they're in there, held on by that little guy. And just to keep stuff from falling apart here, I'm going to put because I don't know how long it's going to take me to do this, I'm going to put a zip tie through here. That way I won't lose these bearings. And let's take out the other side. The cap's falling off. course, I put it in backwards. There we go. Okay. All right, so that should hopefully keep those from, oh, you do want to be careful on this side because they're kind of open, so I think I'm going to face them up like that. The next thing we want to remove is this guy here, because the cable that's behind the little pointer here actually runs down through the center of this. So we want to take this little screw out here, and it is very small and very easy to lose. Ooh, God, I got lucky on that. Dropped it right there. And then there's another one on the other side. Pop that off. And then you want to actually pop this sticker off because there's a screw behind it. So basically just take a knife or a small screwdriver and you should be able to just get behind it. Oops. And lift it off. This one may or may not go back on because it's kind of old. It's been sitting waiting for service for a while. And then you can see there's a screw here. Just take that off. Okay, so that's off. Now I'm going to take out this guy here, which is doing the same thing. I got to get the hex on the other side. Okay, same thing. Screw pops out. And you've got a little axle. And then here we also have some more bearings. So I'll be careful with those. And same thing here. Okay, now we've got that. All right, next thing you want to do is you want to take off the screws that are here. It's 4 of them. Yeah. Now we're going to try and push this gear ring off here. It's starting to move here. It's gonna be fun to get back on, that's for sure. Okay, almost there. You can see it's starting to come apart now. Guess I just got to keep going. There, it's getting there. Almost. You can see this center black one, that's for the little indicator. There we go. Okay, so now we have this, and you can see inside there, there's your up and down there. And then this is the little indicator there. And that is also what's attached to the global adjustment screw. So that is what's used to raise and lower all the wires at once. Now let's see if we can get this out of here. Looks like it's started already. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you can see all the bearings spilling out now. So one thing I did do is I removed this out of here, and then there's an axle piece. If we look in the new one. So anyway, it looks like this, and these screws just go in here like that. And then there's the global adjustment screw actually goes beneath that, and then will attach up to the other cable there. But, okay, so these are the bearings that start to spit out. You can see this one actually still has some left. Not sure if it's all of them or what. Here they come. Whee! Okay. We've got all those. This one must have only spit a few, but these are basically garbage now. Get them out of here. Another one. All right, so we want to sort of, you're going to want to notice how these are connected, right? So just make you've got these little brass inserts here that pop out. There we go. So that comes off. And then you got this one. Comes out of it, and here you can see the shaft going through the middle. I didn't unscrew the other side, but keep that over there. And so this is the piece we need to change. Whoops, there's even more bearings in there. Look at that, they're coming from everywhere. There's another one. And I believe they were falling out up through there. Is actually that's, oh, there goes one right there. And another one. So let's get these out of here. So to now swap this piece, unfortunately we have to, you can see these wires are twisted. So they'll go around like that and lock in, so we got to remember that. But to get this piece off, you have to get this piece here, which is the wires go up through there, so I'm going to have to disconnect one side of each. I believe they are screwed in. Yeah, there's got some screws on like inside there. I'll have to figure out which is the best one. Oh, there we go. So like there, to remove, to be able to get one out and then route it back in. Okay, so now we got to disconnect this from here. That cable just skewered me, so that's got one little break in it. I think the easiest way is probably just to see if this works. It looks like it's moving. There we go. There we go. All right. Get medieval on it. Okay, so now we got these cables here, and I'm just going to have to disconnect. I don't want to get them all mixed up, but let's see. Okay, let's see how they go down. They go down in there like that, because as soon as I pull them out, they're going to get all mixed up. I know it. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to mark this guy with the black Sharpie, and then he goes up that way. Let's take that one out and see how that goes. All right, so that guy is coming through like that, and then coming back up the other side. Oh boy. All right, now I got to get the other cable out. Oh, this guy. Actually, let me mark this. Where'd that guy come out? This can get really confusing. Ooh. All right, well, I guess that comes out. I'm just going to mark this as cable number 1 here. And we're going to mark this guy as 2, 2. Okay, and then I'm going to mark this as 2-1, 2-2. Okay, watch that. It'll spring out. Luckily, the screw didn't go flying. It would have been SOL. I'm going to try, let's see. That's the old one. A new one. right, I want to connect these up before I forget which one's which here. So that's number 2, so that's this one. And I advise you don't set it down between the step. All right, and this guy, let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay, 1. So this guy goes through this side first. Around and up like that. And let's see. It's going to get attached like so. Nope. Like so. All right. Now, if I got those right. And the rest is just the opposite of taking it apart. Just kidding. All right. Let's see. Okay, so this is the the little pointer guy, and you can see this is the bottom here of the global adjustment, and then this will connect in there and either move everything up or down, loosen it or tighten it, all 4 of these cables at the same time when it's moving up and down like that. So this guy, and you can see it's slotted. This goes back into the slot, and this has got to go up. Maybe it's easier to do it the other way. Go up the center first, and then into the slot. There we go. Binga banga. Okay, got some cables in there. And now I'm just trying to think this through with you guys, so I don't necessarily want to put these on yet because I got to put the bearings and everything in there too, which that's going to get potentially a little tricky. Let's see. Let me just probably put this guy back on. See how easily this goes in. Oh, it's going in pretty easily actually. Now that I line up the holes. Probably not. Nope. Crap. Okay, line up your holes. And mine were close. Wow, there we go, lined up, okay. All right, so the next thing I think I'm gonna wanna do is get this piece inside. So I'm gonna stick a little screwdriver in here and finish removing this. Nope. Go the slow way. There we go. Okay. All right, so I assume there's a chamfered end and a non-chamfered end. I'm going to say the chamfered end probably needs to go towards the bottom. So I'm just going to slide that. Raise your indicator thing a little bit. And then we're going to slide it in. And I'm going to use a flashlight. All right, that actually is not going to work. I got to get the stupid one. Okay, redo. Pull that out of there. We need this guy. That goes into here. Yep. Okay, so we actually have to drop that in the hole down there, which I probably should have done it before. It'd be easier if you, if you put it in before you put that on. So I will just get a set of long needle nose pliers. So you can tell I'm doing this for the first time here. All right, and then I'm just dropping it in there. There it is. Okay. Now I want to slide this in. There we go, that goes in. And we want to line up the whole, yeah, that's not going to work, is it? Oh, got it pretty close. You line up the hole looking down there. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if it starts to thread. That's not the right one. I think I got it. And looks like I got it. Yep, okay. All right, so that started the thread in. Okay, you can see the bottom has a hole in it, so that is for the nut to go, or the bolt to go up into. Okay, anyway, so that's basically in there. So when you put these, when you screw these two wires back on, make sure that before you screw them that they actually cross once. And then what you want to do is as you're putting it back down inside, get a little tricky here, you unwind it, or you uncross them as you shove it back, yeah, shove it back down in there. And then what that'll end up doing is putting the twist that you need on the, there we go, on the cables. See how they're twisted? When I first put them together a little while ago, I just had them going straight to the, when I screwed it back on. And then I couldn't get the proper twist on these to then start prototyping, getting these back on. It wasn't working, so what you end up having to do is actually twist it here, and then as you're pushing it in, give it a twist. And then these are actually labeled, so I'll have to figure out how to deal with it. If you look, I think, where did I see it? I saw it somewhere. Oh, B, I assume, for back, and I thought I saw an F on this one somewhere. I don't know. I think I saw it on there. I imagine, well, maybe not. Oh, no, like that actually probably goes right. Okay. So let's see if this, and now I don't have the bearings on here yet. I'm just trying to make sure I know how to put these back on. So if I do like that, and like that, and I could pull them tighter. like it's going to be the right way. I bet Hobie has a nice jig to be able to do this. That looks like it might be in. Wound up on there. There it goes. There we go. And this is going to be fun with the bearings, I'll tell you. There we go. Woohoo! All right, so now it looks like it's close anyway. All right, I think I got it working right here. Well, that's fun. Okay, so now it'll get even more fun as I got to get the bearings in there and not have them fall out. Now I think, okay, so that actually looks pretty good. All right, I think that's gonna work. All right, so I'm gonna just take those off. I think what Hobie does is puts the bearings on with a rubber band. So I'm not going to make you watch that. That's going to be exercise in frustration, I think. So let me do that off camera, and then I'll talk you through it. All right, so I got the first, off camera, I got the first set of bearings on. It's not too terribly bad. Jesus. Got their fucking rubber band on there. I have a feeling that's why that's not going any further. All right, we got the first one on, or the first side on. No, so this is the thickness of a rubber band that I've had the most luck with. It is, let's see, that's about 1/8 of an inch. Or if you're not in some place that's using stupid standard, we've got, I can't read that. I think it's about 3 or 4 millimeters. That one seems to have enough strength for me to pull it up with the pick and not have it break prematurely, and also enough strength for me to be yanking it out once I'm trying to get the whole rubber band out. So basically I'm just doubling it up and we get this started. I put it in a vise just because that way it's easier to keep it from moving around as much when I'm trying to get all the bearings in here. I just use a small screwdriver to help push the rubber band away while you're shoving in the bearing. And you can rotate these around in there if you don't want to move the whole base. Don't get frustrated. This took me many attempts to get to this stage where it looks, at least this part looks relatively easy. Getting this thing is still a royal pain in the butt, but I'll talk to Hobie, see if there's an easier way to do it. And again, there's 17 bearings in here. All right, I got them all in there. Now, one of the other things I did was try to push the rubber band down as far as I can without having the bearings pop out. That gives me a better chance of, one, being able to grab it with the pick, but also being able to actually get it out of here. All right, okay. With this one on, it was easier to be able to just put that down there. But remember, we want to get that twist in there. And line this up. And again, you want to wrap these cables around as far as you can. It's kind of a pain, but it makes it a lot easier to wedge in there without getting all mucked up. Of course, it's not exactly easy. This is where having 4 hands would come in handy, pun intended. Okay, I'm going to kind of, rotate it in a little back and forth a little bit. Okay, all right, so we got it there. Now, hopefully, I can get that rubber band. Where's it? Got it. Don't let go of it. Here it comes. Okay, got the rubber band out. Now, just gotta get these guys in here. It might help sometimes, there we go, to pull that a little bit. There, it's in. Oh, that one went way easier. Oh, all right, let's see how it looks. Oh, that one's a little jammed up. Got worried there for a minute. I was trying to turn it, it wasn't, here it's doing it again. See, it's getting jammed up. What was happening was these guys were getting jammed into each other. Oh, what did it? Did it again. What's going on? Oh, jeez. All right. The issue I'm having here, I don't know if you can see it, but the part that hooks it in, the little copper piece that hooks it in to the red part has popped up. So I got to somehow get it back in its hole. Where is its hole? Right there. Oh, you can sort of see it in there as well. That's jamming on the side. Oh, that's not good. There we go. All right, that was the problem. So once you have this on, I started playing with it a lot. And what I think it does is it pops those little brass knuckles out of the thing here and jams it up, makes it hard to turn. So I'm guessing that once we have everything together and the tension is set properly, those aren't going to pop out. So don't play around with it a little bit, or you'll have to be like I did and get a screwdriver and then kind of shove them back into their home. And what I was talking about is just this little area right here that they press into. They were popping out and then hitting on the inside of there. So next, oh, and then you also make sure that this guy is again plugged into the bottom there. And actually, I guess I can go ahead and just take the initial that's too big. Just to keep it from falling out again, I think I'm gonna try and screw it in a little bit. Oh, nope, still not there. Okay, now it's biting. Okay, so now it's in there. Don't want to tighten it up too much, But we'll go ahead and put this guy back on. And line up the holes. You can find them. I think that's lined up. To get all this threaded correctly, so you want to start with the cables like this. So the inside, so this would be the front. In the front, you got the smaller inside one on the bottom right. Well, towards the bottom right, and then this, and then you're going to put them through here. And we also have to get the ring on. Go. There we go. Okay. Make sure to keep those lined up there. And trying to get all this back together here. Oh, okay, that went through there. Deal with that later. There we go. Pretty darn close. Maybe just a tad that way. Okay. All right, now we got our screws. Get those in there. Which of course don't want to go in. Not quite far down enough. And one more. All right. This wire got hooked around the wrong side. I don't know if you can see that in there. Got to get it the other side. Of course, now that I get it all screwed in. So I think if you get the wires wrong and have to redo them, it's not fun, but I think you can kind of move them around a little bit here. Like this one's kind of stuck right now, but there we go. All right, so hopefully I got the wires right. And then I just gotta get this in there. So this is the center piece for this. It's kind of popped out, so you gotta kind of bend it around, shove it up in there. There, whoops, almost got it. Oh, popping out the other side. There. Okay, there it is. So that's centered in there now. All right, so I think I have this set up right. So I believe it's the outer ring is towards the either pulley here or and then the front shorter, or the front smaller ring is on the front, and then obviously vice versa on the other side. So this is the right side, obviously. So for these guys, this part here goes towards the outside. There we go. All right, so we got it started. The same thing for this side. Want that towards the outside. What's going on? What is this? There we go. Okay, now I just need the, oh, there it is. Okay, I'll put that in there. I'm going to wait to do the final tightening on that until the end. Just in case I got it wrong, I have to take it all off again. All right, careful not to lose this cap. has to go in there. The easiest way to sort of reassemble this is, fortunately it's really hard to get the cables in the right spot with this thing off, so you kind of have to shove them in. Oh, right, I forgot. What we want to do here, so you can see these have the square holes, and that's one of the problems. So we need to hog. We don't need to do it for the idler cable, but we do need to do it for the other one. So this is the idler cable. The inner one is the one for this cable. So we need to do that there, and then we also need to do it on the bottom. So for this, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch drill bit. I'll have to do the math for the metric. I don't have metric drill bits, unfortunately. But so basically all I'm going to do here is just hog it out. There we go. Do the same on this one. I want to do the inside one, not oh, that's the one I just did. Duh. So I want to do this one, not that one. Now I should have taken that off. All right, well, I'm going to have to take this off just so I don't screw it up. What you want to do with these is just to get the sticker off, just to peel it, I think like we did on some of the other ones for the side. I'll just set that over here for now. Take these screws out. So just careful again of the bearings down here. So that should be all we need for that. See, I'm losing this guy. Don't want to lose that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, all right, so the cable going to the front goes on the outside like that, okay? And then this one over here, it's gonna be the same thing. So this one's gonna go here, And then this guy is going to go on the inside. We want to go ahead and get him in here. And try not to lose that. If it helps, put a little more grease on there. You don't want a ton, but... And we want the nuts on just enough to get them started to hold it in there. And this guy is going to go down through here. Fun. By hogging these holes out, it also makes it way easier to get these cables in here, because when they start to twist a little bit, they're real bare to line up properly to shove them in. But by doing this, you're going to have to grab them with pliers on the inside to hold them while you tighten it. And then we put that on there. Oh, before I do this, make sure you have your cables not crossed like I do. The inside, no, that's right. Okay, make sure you have them crossed appropriately, because this one's got to go. On the inside. And this one's going on the outside. Sorry, this may be a little hard to see in the video, but okay. And try and keep everything together and bring it down. There we go. And now we just need our axle. All right, so we've got that partially started. And now, it's the same thing. So this guy is going to be on the inside. So they're not mirrored in here. They're in the same. So the front goes to the out. Well, the front, we'll say if you're looking at to this, goes down on the downside, and then this is the right side cables are going on the upside of the pulley there. Hold that, okay. Actually, I think what I'm going to do this time, I don't leave that zip tie on until I have the cables. That way I don't have to worry about that thing constantly falling off. Almost forgot, got to hog the holes out. Let me do this. And when I'm using the 1/4 inch drill bit, I am actually rotating the drill just a little bit, just to make the hole ever so slightly larger. And again, on the inside one, just not the one with the track. That's for the either pulley cable. All right, don't do that. Get stuff in your eyes. Okay. All right, now we can put the cables in. Oh, and again, the reason for hogging the holes out here is because now the whole cable can move. You can see like the base piece here can move as well in that hole, whereas the way they were before, it was just the cable right here that kept moving, and then it would end up snapping somewhere along here. So that's why we round out the holes. This doesn't want to go on. Come on. There we go. Okay. I remember on the inside. Let's see, that goes over here. All right, I'll make sure again, see where cables are off. So this may be hard to see, but gotta get in there and so much for that not falling off. You may have to get a screwdriver in there to persuade it a little bit. There we go. Oh, make it easier and push that through. There we go. Okay, I've got my cable. I'm just going to get the axle there. Just going to get this started on the assumption that I got it right. Wrong size. Appears that it's right. Let's check it out. Yep, look at that. All right, so I got the cables in there right, and you can look in there and see, maybe, let me get my light. It does take a little fiddling, and Hobie actually has a good video on how to replace the drum and pedal assembly one side here, and they go into showing also how to get the cables lined up. I don't know if you can see that in there. I've got the cables both on the, the ones on the right side and their left there. Gonna tighten this center one down. You don't want to go crazy on this. As you can see, this one apparently has been tightened before and actually split that thing, so I'm gonna have to replace it later, but you don't want it super tight. That still feels good. Okay. All right. I don't remember if I tightened that. Oh, yeah, I knew I forgot to tighten one of those. Okay, so that's tight. So now I'm going to put the indicator back on. Don't lose your tiny little screws there. So first, put this and that. The other thing you want to do is make sure you are lined up. So let's get these the same. Put them on, say, a 4. All right, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so we're all lined up straight there. Oh, I'm going to lay this down here. Get this started. Okay, oopsie. Okay. As you tighten this down, it's going to want to flip back that way, so just hold the screw and then you can turn the indicator back the other way. That's kind of like how they show you in the adjustments, but all this stuff is on here, so it looks a little different, but close enough. Put this on and line up our holes. Make it a little easier. Got one on finally. Now this one's not lined up. Here we go. Okay, so tip on those. Move these out of the way. Use a slightly smaller screwdriver to get it in there, and I use the slightly bigger one to actually drive it in, although it's not one to sit flush. And of course, I forgot to put the sticker on. All right, well, I'm going to try this the not so perfect way. All right, obviously put this sticker on before. Well, no, I guess you can't because you got to get the screw off. So that's on. Okay. All right. Another thing is for the 360 drives, the way the kick-up part of the drive works. Here, these pins are in here. So this piece is just an interference fit in here. So what Hobie says is, as far as unlike the 180 drives where you just have a little grub screw you screw in place of that, you have to replace this whole piece, which they're not super expensive, but it is a little annoying. But you can see this one is already starting to wear. I'm just going to go ahead and reuse it for now. For the sake of this video, I may change that eventually. And put these guys back on. And you notice there's these 3 fins. I marked these. I don't think it matters, but I marked them front and back. These fins go over these bits here. So obviously you got to take the screws out too. Wrong size. I want this here. Okay, so the tip on this, actually, I forgot. Get the 2 sides in first. Don't worry about the top because that'll just go. But the 2 sides will make contact first. And just make sure you're doing it correctly so that you got the bottom facing down. There we go. Okay, now we want to put the bolts back in. Okay, now we got that. And clearly it must not matter whether one's front or rear, I don't think. Oh, I guess technically they're opposites, okay. So that does make sense, but. And then put our fins back in. These clips can be a real pain to get in here. Actually, I want to turn that a bit. There we go. Okay, that one's done. And see, that one's still, it's good enough. It's not going to pop off too easily, but if you hit a bunch more stuff, then it may wear out there. When you're putting the fins in, obviously make sure to get the little post through this part of the fin as well. Otherwise it'll fall off. There we go, got it. Okay. And then the final bit is just the idler cable. Yeah, you can see how this is splitting quite a bit there, so I'm going to have to replace that. I don't have a part number for that though. I'm sure there is one, but and this would also be a good time. It's usually on the 360 drives, the idler cable is really the only one that's relatively easily replaceable. So, you know, check to make sure it's in good condition, no cracks or anything. This one's actually is pretty good. The other cables, as you saw, were the interior bits. Now you can't, even though they're screwed on, which I wish you could buy these individually, like I can unscrew this one cable right here, but Hobie only sells the whole set with, I don't know what you call these things, the drums or whatever these things are, but it's this whole assembly and it's not cheap. So hopefully you don't want to replace one of these cables. Like on this one, clearly needed that cable replaced. This one's not too bad. I think it's 40 or 50 bucks or something. But so I get that in here. But that other thing I was just showing you, if that is busted and you do have to replace it, you pretty much have to do most of this work anyway. So this would kind of apply to that, and you just swap over the new one for the one that I reused here. So with this, we're just gonna push it through. And with these, it's a little easier if you bring the thing all the way down. And you can see this one, so these have the rectangular holes. So you do have to line this up so that it's gonna go in the correct orientation, otherwise it won't go through the hole. So that can be a little bit of a, yep, I got it, okay. Maybe you didn't see that, but get this on here. Usually the first one isn't too hard. The second one can be a lot more painful because you've got a little bit of twist in the cable. Just from the nature of it going around here and whatnot. You may, like if you're reusing an old one, you may get lucky because it probably has a little bit of memory. When I've had to put new ones in here, it's taken me a while. This one's, and then what you can do is you need to like twist it a little, just grab a pair of pliers and then twist it a bit until you see. Oops. It's a little easier if you watch the end to sort of see which way it's going. It's a little hard for me. I'd be in your way if I was doing that. So I'm just gonna, let's see which way is. All right, pulling it out, it seems to be angling that way, so I think I'm gonna wanna twist it this way a bit as I'm pushing it in. Oh, yep, and there it goes, it's popping out. So just a little bit of twist. Hold it there. Okay. So next is what you want to do. I'm not going to rehash it all here because it's already covered by in a good video by Hobie, is setting the tension of the idler cable and then the global adjustment in the bottom. And then, you know, your drive should be, well, mine's all loose, but you can see how it's spinning around, but good to go. So we're back in business. I just got to finish up that tune-up, and that's how you can fix one of your old drives, or for some reason a newer drives. If you have a problem with it and it's out of warranty, you have to tear it apart. You've sort of seen what I've had to do here. To do that, it's going to be the same. Obviously, there's only a few things in here that have changed, and they are kind of backward compatible, which actually is nice. Because then, you know, like I can save this old drive for a customer that's, you know, out of warranty for not a whole lot of money. And I'll put the two parts, the bearing parts, and then the other parts that I used in there for that. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. Thanks.